Should be lying on the fucking miles behind, aren't I? 31 people waiting, for fuck's sake.
I'm sorry. Sorry, guys.
We're very sorry, you know. We're a little bit taken aback after Jack and Vera got the Rovers return today on classic Coronation Street. So Jack and Vera, congratulations to you all these years later. I think they're both dead now, aren't they?
Bill Tarby certainly is, yeah. Don't know about whatever the name is that played the other one.
Summit Dawn, weren't it?
Yes, something like that. I'm sure somebody will mention it in the chat room if listening now. Liz Tarby, I think it was, something like that.
Yeah,
but anyway.
Well, Liz Dawn.
I'll put a time tune on.
Oh, there we go. He's playing his. You mouth organ in along, weren't you? Good evening and welcome to Raconteurs After Dark tonight with myself, Jason Holmes, and Owen Lloyd Martin.
That's why it's called After Dark.
Well, there you go. Well, no. After you've gone, that'll be After Dark.
Yeah, sorry, okay, bad news. I yield, sir, I'm sorry.
Sorry, that's no problem. Anyway, we thought we'd just do a quick hour or whatever, as long as it takes, just to say hello to everybody. And what have you been having sex in other people's houses, Owen? I hope not.
No, not at all, Jason. No, I've kept myself to myself, as I do.
Well,
it's just a ridiculous thing, though, isn't it? I mean, really, come on, it's gone on long enough now. Time to own up. You're taking the piss, aren't you? That's what That's what I want it to be. We're having a joke. We're having a laugh. April Fool's gone on way too long. We're sorry.
Yeah, and that's it. Now you can all go back. The economy's been fixed and mended. It weren't right with the place. We're all
money.
Idiots, aren't they?
Yeah,
anyway, so idiocy still is abound with.
Let me just take my Facebook off my thing, because otherwise I'm going to get messages coming all the time with my podcast, because I need to turn my Facebook off.
Well, that's your popularity, that is. I never get any messages. I used to get ones off Eve saying fucking stupid cunt or something like that. Oh, we're not supposed to be swearing, are we?
We're not supposed. But it's After Dark, Jason. Surely we're after the 9 o'clock watershed, aren't we? We can say.
Oh yeah. How do you feel about getting Webby on? I've just seen.
I'd love Webby to come on. I'd love for Webby to come on if he's around.
He is, and he said he will come on. So I'll send him a message.
Please, Webby, come on, mate.
With the invite, but I noticed he just as I was sat here waiting. In fact, I'd gone for me. I was going to go. I'd come upstairs and I was going to go for me poo before I do a show. And it just popped up now, and Webby's did a live thing. So I was listening to that while I was having a poo. It didn't last very long. I think about 10 minutes, but. You could tell
talking about the poo while Webby's
let's get Webby on. I'll send him a message. You keep talking. Tell people about the guests next week.
The guest is it next week or the week after?
Next week, mate. Next week we've got Monday and Tuesday. We've got guests booked for Monday and Tuesday. We've got Monday. We've got Dick Kahn, the writer of the DMT book, which he sent me. So I'm going to be able to read that this weekend. It's not too long, so I should be able to read it over the weekend. And on Tuesday, we've got the guys from Unite Planet coming along. And the following week, we're going to have Vinny Eastwood on. After that, on the 22nd, I've booked a guy, Matt Conspiro, who's a friend of Mark Devlin's, does all the Beatles stuff and all that sort of thing. So that should be a distraction from all this crap, COVID crap. You know, we want this distraction from this COVID fucking nonsense that's going on at the moment. Also, what else were I going to say? I'm going to say something else, but you say something while I just send an invite.
I'll let you do that, and I'll just rattle on what I know from my side with the COVID. Like I said before, we're into our third week of not being locked down, and Portugal have announced now that we're going to accept people from the UK. They're going to build something that's called an air bridge, which basically means that anybody that wants to travel into Portugal can fly over, and you don't have to spend 14 days in quarantine. And what the Portuguese government's actually doing at the moment is discussing with the UK government to have the UK government do the same, because, I mean, you imagine you want to go, like with me, if I was to come back to the UK and I could only afford to stay for 2 weeks, that 2 weeks is gone because I'm spending 2 weeks in quarantine. Although they're saying you can spend 2 weeks in quarantine at the place you're staying, it doesn't mean that I'm going to get out to see anybody because of the quarantine rules and the restrictions. And what was the other thing that introducing, is quite like the United States have now, that I believe that's happening in the UK, is that even if I was to fly in to the UK to see somebody, although I'm a UK citizen, is that I would have to have a proof of address of where I'm actually staying. So that's kind of the same with the US laws that's going on now. So that's one of the things I've picked up today. Bars, pubs are open. The beaches are reopening, I think, fully on the 15th, but they're using a traffic light system. Don't know how that's going to work. I can't, obviously red, amber, green, but I don't know how that's going to work really, because you can have masses of people. Fair enough on in your bars, the supermarkets still, which I've experienced this week again, that you have to wear your mask. But when they're saying that you can be in your groups, but you still have to social distance, so it's kind of contradicting itself again. And then there's no real mention of the masks again, and that just seems to be the big, I don't know, I'm not going to say red herring, but it just seems to be the thing that must dominate it all, because we all know that wearing the masks is completely pointless. But yet this is being, it's being spouted on. There you go. Has he received the link?
It's what, sorry?
Has he received the link? The lad?
I've sent it him. I've managed to send it him anyway, so he'll pop along sometime soon. The mask seems to be counterproductive. I mean, when we're talking about facial recognition, the masks would take away a lot of that, unless they're trying to pinpoint the facial recognition so that they can get you from the top of the nose open. They can get all these different points, and you know what it's like at the moment. I mean, they're just creepy bastards. Anybody who's working on this shit, anybody who's in one of these fucking companies and they says, "Oh, working on this stuff, right?" Where you'll be able to see somebody completely stark bollock naked walking around, just in case of Nick Summer. But we'd be able to see, and you think you sick fuck, for fuck's sake, someone's desperate enough to nick Summer. Fucking hell. All right.
Even looking at that, I mean, just the suspicions of the whole thing of if you go supermarket shopping, certainly. I mean, I've got a video of where I'm waiting in the queue of people to go into the supermarket, and literally this local council van pulls up. This guy gets out in a semi-hazmat suit, just a white pair of overalls and a mask, really. Big thing on his back. But he's not just spraying the bollards and everything else. He's actually spraying the trolleys. And obviously, in fact, it was the first time I met another English couple that have another English couple that have moved over here as well. And I turned around to them because I actually saw them wipe their hands on the trolley and rub their hands together. Fair enough, this guy's disinfecting the trolley, but what's in the disinfectant? what's in that fluid. I certainly wouldn't be going over there. It literally sprayed everything, the walkways, the walls, where people were stood. He didn't care that people were
So what
spraying.
you're asking, Owen, is who disinfects the disinfectors?
Exactly.
You're going to put
That's what, he's going into all these dangerous areas, isn't he? He's going into all these so-called virus areas, spraying everybody. When he gets back to the depot, what does he stand there and just gets hosed down by everybody? What's going on?
Webby, how you doing, me old mucker? I saw you earlier on doing just before doing a bit of a having a bit of a rant, and I think you were a bit disillusioned. How you doing, me old mucker? I hope you're all right.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what, Jason? I've never been better since. You know, I mean, you know my history. We've been through a fair bit personally. Some more than others, obviously, yeah. But you know, but when you come out the other side and you're trying to explain things, and you're explaining things from really factual things, and you know, this factual thing links with this factual thing, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. What do you think? You're a dickhead. Have you looked at these? No. And it's the same story, Jason. You know, on Monday, this week has really, it's put me back, to be fair, because on Monday, I saw a 5-mile queue for IKEA. And I've never wanted a cabin bed that much. And even though they do nice hot dogs and good meatballs, I've never wanted to go to IKEA
Fucking
in order
awesome.
to exactly to a 5-mile fucking queue. This is apart from McDonald's that has opened up and had this queue, and I'm going, I don't understand this. So this is brilliant. This, my local rag. I have 2 local rags. Neither are based in my town. Neither of my local rags are based in my town.
They've all been taken over, haven't they? They've all been taken over.
Exactly. So my local rag, the Lee rags are based in Warrington and Wigan. So it's filled with adverts, right? And then you get posts like 88-year-old man has heart attack, rushed into infirmary, dies 2 weeks later with COVID. And COVID still, to this day, isn't isolated strain, cannot be tested for, and the doctor who invented the test that they are using says you can't use it to test for this because it will give you false positives and false negatives. So we have loads of them, and yet people are still telling me people are dying though, Paul. I don't know what to say, and that's why I was going to go live. I wasn't because sitting on my own and ranting, even though I can talk on my own forever. Jason knows that, but I couldn't. I didn't know. I can't just sit on a show and do it on my own. I like to bounce off people. I like to think. You know, I like to speak to somebody who's maybe not like-minded as me and go, am I being an idiot? And then when the feedback comes back that is such a low quality, as in, you should wear a mask. It'll reduce. Right, just stop with reduce. You know.
It builds up your CO2. It builds up your CO2 for frig's sake, doesn't it? You know.
Well, that's what I said to people. I went, look, your body, you put a mask on, and your body is dealing with the oxygen and the blood supply, and your body goes, oh, look at all that CO2, let's get it out. Breathe it out. And then your body goes, why is this CO2 not going down? It seems to keep breathing back in. We better have an immunity response. So we will become ill. And you know what? The beauty of all of this is that if COVID-19 really does exist, and let's just reduce it to SARS-CoV-2. Let's say you've got a flu and it's SARS-CoV, and you've got a mask on to help not spread it about to people, even though it drops no further than your feet. When you know, these droplets are that large. It's not airborne. That's what I'm being told. So if that's the case, then where do we go from this? Where do we go from this, lads? Because Jason's been talking about wiping trolleys down and stuff like that. No, I could adhere to that because I can think about a surface infection. So as a baby, I crawl around in shit and then I scratch my face or my eye and shit goes in my body and the body goes, whoa, infection. Let's create a virus. Get rid of that shit. It just makes too much sense. And then I see people who react so irrational. That was where I was at tonight. It wasn't a case of I was going to go live and do a show. I was going to go live and have a rant, and then I wasn't, then I was, then I wasn't. And I thought, I've just got to say a little bit because I don't know what to say to genuine people and people who I do and have cared about. I don't know what to say to them when they're talking bollocks.
Well, I'll say I think this is quite a pattern, Webby, if I'm being honest, because I've had the same myself. But I mean, this is somebody who I have a lot of respect for, somebody who I've met here that's currently stuck in the UK. And I posted something which has been floating around, which was the black girl in the grey T-shirt that was going on about how she didn't believe, the narrative. And I, hands in the air, truthfully, I posted that for a reaction because I've got to that stage now, Webby, that I've spoke to many people and it's not registering. So I thought, right then, instead of because I post pictures of my food and the scenery and me getting pissed and having a good time, it's about time I started posting things just to open up the dialogue and get the questions going. But it kind of got into a way that we were falling out over it, where there was no need for that because the way yes, quite right. Looking back on it, I could have possibly worded my post right. I've since taken it down for reasons I'll explain another time. But because there was, I sensed the falling out, is that I wanted to rectify that. I wanted to rectify the friendship first. Because I know this guy is clued up. I know what he's about, but I wanted to rectify the friendship because to me, once again, you'll know, the friendship means more to me than the situation. Because if you've got the friendship, that's what builds, that's what makes us all stronger. But I know what you mean because today I've struggled over the past 2 weeks because I've dived further than I've ever dived into this because I want to know for myself because it's going to affect me. So then when I start asking questions and just opening up that, I didn't expect the kind of worms that I opened, but I'm good for dealing with it because I know I've got plenty of people around that will be a good support network. But it's just getting it out and making sure that people are listening to you in the right way. So, if you are watching, I apologise. It wasn't meant in that way. I was just trying to get things going so people would listen. And that's why I'm trying to use Facebook in that way. Although I've had loads of posts declined and everything else, I'm doing me normally a 68 a day fact checkers, getting rid of them, which is quite exciting, really. Just seeing these random people in Jamaica. You've got Gladys in Jamaica that just sat there with a rice and peas and a chicken, just saying, no, that's not good, man. That's not good. That's not going on Facebook today. Nah, man, sure, you're talking rubbish. Anyway,
no.
Hey, does she like beer can? Does she like beer can?
Beer can in the sandwich. Hey, listen, but you can't beat a bit of hate.
Are we being moved away because I noticed from something from my local area, and it was a news article from Sheffield Online, and it said that police had opened an investigation. News article.
Excuse me, guys. Sorry, my fault.
From Sheffield Online, and it said that police had opened an investigation.
That was me. My bad.
So
carry on, Jason.
It said that they'd opened an investigation, and what it were is somebody's fence. You get a fence post, like a piece of panel that's nailed to a fence, and on it somebody had written "kill niggers," right? Niggas, right?
Nice grammar.
Well, hey, does that not mean anybody then? Because if it's Niggas, that means white, black, everybody, doesn't it?
Well, I
I
don't
mean,
listen.
I don't know.
The point I'm trying to make was that this was written in like a fucking Sharpie. It were very small, yet police had opened up this investigation. So my argument were, I mean, no, it were pathetic. It were really pathetic. I don't know whether it had been put there and some agent provocateur because they were making something out of it, and it were really, really a pathetic piece of fucking crap that should have just been painted over and just dealt with that way. But no, they've made this big issue of it. So do you think that now we're sort of like being moved away from COVID so that they can sort of hide away COVID, and we're all being sort of put into this race war section? What do you reckon, Webber?
I think that the COVID, it wasn't obvious enough. I know they were saying that it was killing everybody, but as with most people's reality, it isn't killing people. Yes, people are ill. Yes, people are having bad respiratory issues with something. But when you can't identify and point at it and you are presuming, there is a problem for me, especially when you're putting it on death certificates. If Harold Shipman did it, it was at the very least fraud. So we have to be able to ask questions. I've always said, if I'm called names or somebody attempts to shut me down for asking those questions, there are issues. Now, the factor is, and it kind of saddened my heart because a child asked, why is COVID racist? Because it seems to kill black people more than white people. So why is it racist? I'm trying to explain an agenda that is so huge that somebody once said that nobody believe it.
Mm-hmm.
But to try and explain that to like a 7-year-old child who is worried that his friends who may be of ethnic background may not survive this. You are telling a 7-year-old who stood in a box in a playground for playtime, who is sat on his own eating his dinner, distancing. It's social.
Divide and conquer.
It is, but it's social conditioning, and people are applauding it in, and that is very scary when people want to call me names for trying to point this out.
And I've got to ask as well, because I saw a post last night, because it's Thursday night, it was the hand clapping night. Has that finished now in the UK? Because somebody posted last night, glad to hear Glamis Avenue clapping tonight. Is that still, is it still a thing, or is it people just, have the still doing it? Sorry.
It's allegedly, last week was the last allegedly, but we've got new things now. We've got people taking a knee.
They're not clapping for George. Please don't tell me they're clapping for fucking George.
No, they're taking the knee. They're taking the knee for George, Owen.
You're having a fucking laugh. I'm sorry.
No,
but
they are taking the knee. The police in London this weekend, this week, knelt before Black Lives Matters under their BS.
There you go. That's one.
Under their BS, they knelt. Now you see all these people kneeling. Do you know that the 3rd degree level of Freemasonry is about taking the knee around the grave of Hiram Abiff? It's a pledge. Now, who do the Freemasons pledge their loyalties to, Owen?
Oh, in fact, if I can find it, I've got a photograph here of over 30 police badges with the compass on. Yeah?
Yes. And who do the Freemasons pledge to?
Big triangle. Oh, the big triangle, mate. People don't get it. And this is what's so sad about it all. is that the jigsaw pieces are all there, and they've actually got the last piece in the fucking hand, but they won't let go of it because they're afraid of their realities being shattered. What they've lived, what they've worked for, because they've been told, you work hard, you can earn, you can get well, although they haven't. That last piece of that jigsaw puzzle is that bit, but they won't let go of that because it's that bit of security that they have. I'm not disrespecting anybody, but it's the truth.
They've got the pieces.
On a brighter note, Multability today sent me a check for 50 quid.
Hang on.
Honestly, they sent me a check for 50 quid. Go on, do it.
No, you carry on. We'll do the blues later.
They sent me a check for 50 quid and said because of the COVID lockdown and everything, there'd been very few fucking insurance claims. Obviously, because everybody who's got a Motability car weren't going up. And they'd saved loads and loads of money, so they wanted to share it with their customers. So they sent me a check for 50 quid. Fucking awesome or what?
You put lottery on.
Jason, did I tell you that I got a check at the end of February from British Gas?
Oh no, you didn't know, no.
Yeah, I've got. In fact, if you like me to, I can go and get it. Please, I know where it is.
Please.
But I have a check issued to me from British Gas stating, Mr. Paul Webster, thank you for being so much in credit. We've decided to award you £5 credit.
Awesome,
isn't it?
In fact, while you talk to Owen, I will go and get it.
Please,
I will go and get it and show
you. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. How's everybody in the chat?
Yeah, just brilliant. I mean, Multability just came out of the blue. I didn't know all that.
Multability.
I got a letter and I was like thinking to myself, well, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, that's not usually, some cunt. That's not the usual. Some cunt fucking asking you for money. Other one were, but this. In fact, other one weren't. No, I can't remember. Anyway, now the opening just said, here's your 50 quid Multability rebate for insurance. So I thought, well, we'll have that. So it's the lockdown's been pretty profitable for me. I've had a new RAM. I've got my new floor in this place coming on Monday. They're going to come and do the new floor, which means that everything in this studio as we sit is going to have to be come out while the new floor is put in place. But hopefully by Monday night it will be done. And if it's not, I can do a show just downstairs with laptop. So we'll be able to do the show. And don't forget, Dick Kahn. I've got his book to read. I'm looking forward to it. Right, go on then, Webby. Show us your tech from British Gas.
You might see through it actually.
I can see the writing on the wall.
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah, I can see the British Gas.
Turn your green screen off, mate.
Yeah, I can see it.
Hang on.
Let's have it.
There you go. Closer up. Up, down, up.
Hang on.
Yeah, we've got it, mate. We've got it.
Can you see?
Yeah.
No, do you know what, lads? The strangity about that is that they haven't spoken to me for years, right? Since the last time we were in court, they haven't spoken to me. And yet they've never sent me a bill. They've never sent me any demands. They've never sent me anything other than a £5 check. And do you know what? I will never, ever cash that. I'll never put that in. That is going in a frame as soon as I get it sorted.
I'm getting that from Chris. I saw that as well, Chris. Yeah, I did see a picture of that.
Have you read
Yeah.
that?
The thing is, I mean, one of your lads, Jason, you know, over from the wrong side of the Pennines, that Lee Francis, he's come out and said, do you know what? I'm so upset with myself portraying black people all those times. What? What were you portraying about black people? You're doing a Craig David character. Is that a black person that you're portraying, or is it a Craig David character? That's a character for me. It's a character for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what, Owen? If I put a wig on and dreads and some sunglasses and then said I'm Owen, am I suddenly Owen? No, I'm not. I'm trying to be a character.
Exactly.
You would take that as that. You wouldn't take that as racist.
No,
so why is this racist fucking bollocks?
You've got to look at the people that's involved, Webby. I mean, it's one of the things I've been looking at. I mean, with the George thing in the US, all these celebrities that have put, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars into to bailing the rioters out. Now, false idols. I posted something this week. I don't know if I posted it on either of you guys, but it was on Facebook. There's a page called So Delicious or something, and it's all to do with diets. It's like a celebrity thing. It's one of those things that pops up. But the actual picture was a picture of Beyonce, and the thing was Beyonce's diet tips and secrets, and there were no comments, and I couldn't resist. So I went onto Google and I got into search. I did adrenochrome, and it was a bottle of red blood or whatever it may be, and the adrenochrome, and I posted it. But it didn't breach community standards. It didn't get taken off. It was still there. But I wanted to do that. You know, these false idols that people do. Yeah, the celebrities matched 100,000. People's Movement pledge called match, apparently. So this is what all these celebrities are doing. But when I saw that the other day, I had to respond with that, because they've made it so these people are worshipped. Do you understand the false idols and with the symbology and the music and everything else? It's lost because, and I'm even going to go frequencies in the music that they're playing. You know, it's lost. It's not music that they're listening to. It's changed. You know, Mark will talk about it. One, you know, Mark Devlin is hits the nail on the head. But people need to realise that these people, the Justin Biebers, the whoever's, even, you know, you can see the Masonic poses of all these celebrities. It's all over YouTube. And that's the thing that gets me, is that people have had the time, they've been fucking locked behind the fucking doors to have a look and just question one thing. Because that's all it takes. We know now, it just takes that one thing, because they're all connected.
Well, Alice has just brought up in the chat room a thing that still baffles me today. An upturned police car with a woman sat on it, shitting on it. That is a protest, Owen. Is that because a black man got killed? Well, would you go and shit on the car for one of your fellow black men to be killed? Because do you know what? I've met you on several occasions, Owen, and you've never portrayed yourself as a black man. Funnily enough, how weird is that? Yeah, you've never said I'm a black man. It looks like I've never met you. You've gone, I'm a black man.
The old record, you'll know this, Jason. The Floaters, float on, float on. Hi, my name is Larry.
I know that.
You know what I mean? It's like that, isn't it? Hi, my name is Owen, and I'm black. No, it just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? How is it?
Owen, do you walk into your bedroom, and as soon as you walk in, as the door opens, the black silk sheets are there.
Webby. I shit myself when I walk past the mirror and go, fuck a black man.
I don't get it. I really don't. You know, this thing about I'm black. I don't get it.
I have had sorry, mate. I'll tell you a tale of something that happened to me when my two girls were very, very young. It was before, you know, the mum was driving. And we went from just outside of Halifax into Halifax to do some shopping for the first time on the bus with the girls. And the girls wanted to sit upstairs on the bus. Obviously, you know, welcome. It's an adventure trip out. We sat on the front of the bus, and I'm not stereotyping, but people in the West Yorkshire area will know that these guys came from a scratchy area in Bradford. That's all I'm going to say about it, because that's how.
I know I've heard this story. Carry on, mate.
Yeah, and when this couple was sat down with the two children, Megan and Amelia with me and Emma at the front seat, so they, just sat looking out the windows. They do, and these kids were having fun on the bus, running up and down, and all the rest of it. And then the parents actually called them back to sit down, and they sat down for all of 2 minutes. After that 2 minutes, they got up again, and they were running up and down the bus. But they actually ran up to quite close to myself, and the word Blackie Sambo. Now, anybody over the age of 40 will understand that's going, 70s stuff, all the rest of it. So automatically, that is not coming from the children. But I sat there, and they carried on. And the sigh came out, and then Emma said to me, "Owen, don't." And I went, no, I've got to do something about this. So I walked up, got up, had to bend down, walked over to these parents and sat behind them, and I popped my head through, and I turned around to them and I said, when your kids are 14 and 15 and they come home from school and they've been battered by an Asian or black kid, remembered me today because I've done fuck all. And I walked away because I didn't want my girls to see any sort of violence, because it wasn't right. I just wanted to make sure I planted that seed in their head so that that moment never happens, because I didn't want it to happen to their kids, but they have to. It's responsibility for your actions at the end of the day. Yeah. So don't go complain to the police that your little Johnny or little Sarah's being harassed by a bunch of darkies, Sambos, because you planted that seed in their head in the first place. Teach them right. That's it.
Well.
Crazy. I grew up in the 70s, in the days of Love by Neighbour and everything else. Yeah, and I had my back. I was a paper boy, being caught. A guy casually sat with a cup of tea, calling me nigger as I'm delivering papers, and I'd carry on doing the papers. He got battered by a bunch of Hells Angels that lived around the corner from me. That was much years later, but he got it, and he always used to say hello to me after then, because they taught him a lesson. I'm not saying violence solves everything with all these rights and everything. You have to practice. Isn't it
funny? God's justice, Owen. God's justice.
It is. In different ways.
Me and you have had this conversation a few times about when we were growing up. I mean, this Black Lives Matter stuff and black communities and the white communities against the black communities, it's absolute anathema to me because of my town. If a black man, when I was a kid, if a black man had walked through my town, everybody knew, Owen. Everybody. Hey, there's a black fella in Lee. Did you see him? Everybody wanted to know about this black fella because it was, who's this black fella? Mm-hmm. It wasn't, he shouldn't be there. He went, hey, there was a black fella. That's how rough black people were.
Well, it's Soros funded anyway, isn't it? Black Lives Matter.
Sorry?
It's Soros funded.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is from childhood, the Asians that I grew up with, they all had corner shops. They really did have corner shops. So the joke about Pakistan, but the jokes about Pakistan not having an international football team because every time they get a corner, they open a shop. All that was normal stuff to me when I was growing up. Listen, it was the Asian kids that would say those jokes.
One of the funniest terms I ever heard when I was a kid, because of the uneducated kids that were saying it. The best phrase I can ever remember was, "You're a blackie stanny." Serious, blackie stanny. Is that the best you can do, man? You know what I mean? Serious.
You know what? Like I said, in my family, I mean, I'm related to a black lad who's adopted, right? In my family, but he was always known by his name. He wasn't a black kid in our family. Yeah, we knew he was black, but we didn't make it. Wasn't an issue.
How did you know? Were he open? Because I remember. Yeah, was he the first openly black person in your family?
Yeah.
Jason, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Stay where you are in that position.
Yeah.
Whether you do the same, and I'll do the same, because I've had about 3 or 4 calls today where everybody's done the Chad thing. You know the old
He
Chad.
looks like Chad.
Exactly. Come on, Webby, let's just do it. Just to round my day off, just do the Chad. Yay! Sorry.
What? No racism? What? No racism?
No racism. Just Chads. There you go. Sorry, I had to do that because it was Jason.
You know what? We have to be able to talk like this because, I mean, as Jason said, was he the only black fella? Yeah, he was, and he was the only black fella that had ever been into my family. Now, I know Owen because of the era I grew up in. My mum and dad were racist, if we look back. I remember my dad looking at a white woman holding a black baby, right? And I'm, how old would I be? Maybe six? Maybe six. So what, we're talking 1978, something like that. And I'm sat in the back of the car, and my mum and dad were laughing because my dad had said, look at that woman holding a monkey. And they're laughing their heads off. And I'm looking at them going, that's not nice. As a kid, as a 6-year-old kid, I knew, oh, that's not nice.
You knew the difference.
Yeah, but I knew the era. I knew the era that I was growing up in. I'll know it more so now I look back. I didn't agree with it then because I didn't understand it. Now, if that had been a brainwash thing where my mum and dad were totally racist, which they weren't, because I'm telling you now, I've seen my dad shake hands with black fellas and put their arm, hug them and say, hey, you all right, blah, blah, blah. But I also know that when my dad was delivering to Birmingham, a black fella tried to rob his wagon, and my dad got into trouble because he almost beat him to death.
Uh-huh.
Now,
your dad is protecting his business and his livelihood, just like the same people in the riots in the US, protecting your livelihood. That's all you are doing. It's not about colour. You're protecting your family and the future of your family. And this is one of the things with me this week with the posts that I've been doing and the kind of rebound or the rebound I've been getting from it is trying to open up that it's not just it's project propaganda. It's a massive agenda to just shift the balance in people, shift the difference. What's that album cover, Jason? You distracted me with that. What is it? You got a bit sorry, we'll get back to it.
I've been looking for it because since you mentioned it, but it's got that on it.
Float on, the floaters, yes. It's a shame we can't play it at the end of the show. That'd be wicked.
It's that album, Disco Fever. I remember having that as
brilliant. My dad used to have that album. My dad had that album.
I also wanted to get another album that I've got, which sort of sums things up at how things used to be. Is this? It's 40 original soul tracks, and it's called
Black Magic. Do you know what, Jason? Have you got my dad's old record collection? I'm being serious. My God.
Do you know what? I'll tell you what, Owen. I'll tell you what, Owen. I'm waiting for him to wheel out hot chocolate right now.
Yeah. I want to see the negative version on screen, Jason, where you are. I want to see the negative version on the screen where you are. You know what I mean?
That's Webby. Always believing in miracles, mate.
Brilliant. Great.
It's Friday night, and it's Raconteurs Talk with myself, Jason Holmes, Owen Lloyd Martin, and we've got Webby along with us tonight as well. And Webby, I think we just got you on to cheer you up a bit and let you vent a little bit, because I got that feeling that you were really despondent. And I actually said to Owen before we came on, didn't I? And I said, can we try and get Webby on? Because
I want him on.
He needs to vent and stuff. So,
but I mentioned to Jason is that I sometimes when I post from time to time, not necessarily stuff what's going on, just what's been happening in my life, and from time to time you like, but it's very rarely that you comment, Webby, and that comment today meant the world to me, because my earlier post, and I'll tell you because I want to open up a bit, and I hope you don't mind me doing it. I went to bed last night and I was watching a video that I was recommended, But no, as normal with my mind and obviously the shit I've been going through over a few years, I fall asleep before the credits have, before the film's even started.
Of course you did. You finished after 5 minutes.
When I woke up this morning, as soon as I clicked the screen off, obviously the movie screen, the Facebook page was there, but it was updated. And it was my memory photograph that was on this morning of 6 years ago, when my mum and dad, I'd seen my mum and dad for the first time in 20 years. They'd come over from Jamaica and they'd met my now ex-wife. But I'd actually, for the first time, spent time in the kitchen with my mum, because she was kind of my mentor. I'd learnt my cooking through my mum. So when I'd opened the page, that page, I cried for a good fair while this morning, because it just brought everything back and all the shit I've been through with the divorce and everything. But I think today, in particular, because I saw that and the memory of everything, I hadn't really properly grieved for my mum. And this morning I did. And then I'm doing a thing over here, which is hopefully going to help me with my cooking over here. Is that there's an internet program for the expats over here called the Good Morning Portugal. Good Morning Portugal. And they have a Good Morning Portugal wine club.
It's like a Good Morning Vietnam.
Well, he did actually the other day. He actually Good Morning Portugal. He did do that with Morning Child. It was great.
Oh, Good Morning Britain. You could be the new.
There's like over 800, 600 viewers and all the rest of it that watch it on the podcast and everything else. But with the wine club, they asked me to do a dish to go with the wine, and that was the dish I put on Facebook today. But I think it was the situation and the emotion that I felt when I woke up this morning that spurred me on to go in the kitchen and cook the dish that's going to be on this show tomorrow night. But I must say that I do know for a fact today, and I'll be open and honest with you, when I was in that kitchen today cooking my meal, my mum was with me, and it was the best feeling I ever had. And I'm getting really, but it was the best feeling I ever had. And it's great coming on the show tonight and just being able to just share that with you, because I've been through a lot of stuff and you guys have helped me through it, both of you. And it's a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to sit here and have the chat, because it helps me carry on. Cheers, guys.
You're going to have to stop, Owen. You're going to have me in tears in a minute.
Oh, it's true.
I doubt it.
I can only speak the truth, can't I? I can only speak the truth.
Honestly, mate, listen, we're filling up here. We all this is what this is. It's a support network. We've all had us fucking ups and downs. We've all had us ins and outs, and we've all. I think we've all owned them as well. Anything that's been, any problem that's been, I think that we've owned it. We've decided to own it, and.
The 2 years I've just had, do you know what? The 2 years I've just had has prepared me for this. The 2 years I've just had has prepared me for this, and I'm happy to go along with it, because I know I've got the right people behind me. Not just you two guys, but everybody that's in chat and anybody else that's watching it. We're all on the same path, and I'm glad I'm on the same path with you all.
So, did you see them things I posted up under Nolan Ganwich? Sorry, Owen.
No.
I'm trying to move it. The two interviews that I put up.
The 9/11 ones.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes.
The one
Yes.
in December 2001. What do you reckon?
I haven't actually seen them in that format, but the odd ones, I've heard clips of them. Do you get what I mean? Of the whole interviews that you posted, I've heard clips of all this every so often since I started researching, and all it did to me was take me back to when I was trying to have time to do a bit of research. I was under a lot of pressure in the 9/11 days from relationship stuff and all that kind of caper, but to join the dots I did then, and then now I've got all that time to go back, it just went bang, 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 bang. And I'm going like, there was too many dots. I don't know if you understand it this way, Jason. There was too many dots joining for me to listen to it all in one. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you mean, because it were a lot. There were a lot. It was this Israeli Israeli communications company that were providing for everybody in America, CIA, FBI, and they were being investigated, and they knew they were being investigated, and all they did is just swap the phones that they were using when they were being investigated, because they knew they were being investigated because they were tapping in on everybody's phones, and then as a number detained on and around 9/11, it's just that it shows that didn't go very far. Those two news reports, and I found them news reports on my old hard drive, and I thought, I wonder what they are. And they were in a different format. They were in like some .ra, and I thought, I see if I could change it, and it were all what it were. It were audio, and I had a listen, and I thought, wow, this is fucking gold. Really, I mean, if you're listening to this in context, to what the timing of it, of the two interviews, I think the one on the 14th is is it the one the 14th or the 12th? The one one's far more incriminating than the other one, but it just makes it fucking. I just thought to myself, wow.
Well, what it does is it takes a context that nobody's heard, because they're all 9/11, all terrorists, Bin Laden, blah blah blah. That's all we got it with. So as soon as you go below that and you start investigating, you can join dots, which is what I did. When you bring in interviews that nobody's heard, it's a bit like the Dave Von Kleist stuff. All the videos, personal videos that nobody was normally doing in 2001, but people had done because of that event. Yeah. When you start to look at them, you get clues that show you blatantly that there is something wrong. Buildings don't act like
an example of that. Just Google Harley guy on 9/11. Harley guy, where a guy who got a Harley Davidson t-shirt on, and he gave
rained
and again, Webby.
And then the other building mostly due to structural failure. He's fucking done a complete analysis in like 2 fucking minutes.
It was how he said this ignoramus who's been stopped in the street, who's gone rained into the tower, has then gone, and then because of the fires, it collapsed into its own footprint because the fires were just too hot. How the fuck do you know
that? Yeah.
And when you look at it retrospectively, which is what I did when you posted those interviews, because the stuff I'd heard in clips, but I hadn't heard it all in context. So you start listening to it, and I had to keep pausing it, Jason, because I'm going, whoa, bang, 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 bang. Oh, I'll listen to it a bit more. Bang, 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 bang. And you're going, how can anybody not think there's something wrong? One of my mates at work, he said to me about 5 years ago, he said, so you think, what's this? So you don't think 9/11 happened out? I went, no, it's not that I don't think. I know it didn't happen, how it's saying. But I've had time to go and look. You haven't. And anyway, one day on Netflix, there was a 9/11 in 9/11 documentary. And he watched one Netflix 9/11 documentary, and he come in, he went, I watched a documentary on 9/11 yesterday, Webby, while I was off. And straight away when he said it, I went, here we go. And he went, and this is literally what he did. He went, how did they get away with that? And he said to me, he said, Webby, in 2001, I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. I was training rugby and I was playing rugby and I was working. And I saw it happen and I went, oh, that's bad. Oh, I've got to get training done. And that was me. I was off. And he said, now I've had time. I only had an hour and a half. And I watched an hour and a half's documentary. And everything that you've been moaning and going on about, it didn't even get touched. on this documentary. Yet it opened me and went, this can't happen like this. And from there, he is now stopping me and saying, have you seen this? Have you seen this about COVID? And that for me, Owen, is all I ever wanted. When I told people that the gas was free, I didn't want to be called a cunt. I wanted people to go, really? Show me how.
We spoke. That's what we spoke about, wasn't it?
At Bolton. Yeah, at the Bolton meeting, you sat me down and you didn't get it, and then I talked you through it, and you had an open mind because you realised that what we may have been trained to do in life might not be best for us. It might be best for somebody else.
Exactly.
And when I got through that, you went from, no, I'm not getting it. No, I'm no. And then you went, oh, hey, that makes sense. That makes sense. And then you saw that penny drop. I saw the penny drop with you that night when I was talking to you, that I saw that penny drop. And I've seen that penny drop with people who are willing to talk to me.
I use that phrase. I use the phrase penny drop. And I love it. It's a beautiful word. To me, penny drop is a beautiful word because you see it. You see it. You know what I mean? It can be anything. But as soon as that moment happens, it's the most... Well, I got it.
Well, apart from when I was a young boy, I think probably a penny drop would have been eclipsed by tuppence. I'd have probably been a bit more interested in that when I was a young boy.
Fucking hell, you're not that old, mate. It was a penny for me. How was it a tuppence for you?
Oh, man. Can I just do something? Just completely change the subject completely. Well, I'm going
Keep
back
your clothes on. Keep your clothes on.
I will. I was talking about my mum earlier, and about my emotions today. Now, I don't know. I can't see the chat room, but I don't know if Basil's mum is in the chat room. But I was having a conversation with Basil's mum today, and I think probably Alex as well. Is that when I was saying to you before that I knew my mum was in the kitchen.
You're talking about Paula?
No. Today earlier on today personally, I was speaking to Alice and also Basil's mum, which is my friend Mel in the UK. I know they're both watching in tonight, but I spoke to them both today, and I was talking about when I was cooking the fish today, and I said to them both that when I was in the kitchen, as I said to you guys earlier, that my mum was in the kitchen with me. I knew my mum was in the kitchen with me, and this is freaky, guys, and I'll show you in a minute. I said to both these girls today that the reason I knew my mum was in was because I could smell Nivea. And I'm getting emotional. Sorry, guys. I could smell Nivea, which is what my mum used to wear. Now, a friend of mine back in the UK is Jasmine, and she does brilliant tattoos. And I asked her today if she'd draw a picture of my mum. And I've just had a message from her. And it says, don't want to sound weird, but I keep smelling this certain perfume when I'm drawing her. Mega distance. Wish I could somehow show you the smell or what the name of the scent was. Sorry, guys. That's amazing. But the message is there. I'll put it on later. But that's just happened.
You don't need to prove it to us. Don't put it on. It don't matter. It's private.
You can't take that away from anything, mate.
No,
it's just yours. That's
you don't
yours.
Need to prove anybody.
Prove it to anyone.
Prove to anybody. That's your shit.
I want to share it with you because since I've been around, guys, you've been with me, and I have to share it with you. I'm sorry. That's who I am. If I can't share my love, I'm not worth being here. That's all I want to do. That's fantastic. Sorry, guys.
Welcome.
Awesome.
Just to sorry for interrupting, Jason. Just Mahatma Levidence is saying in the chat room that you have to attend court for gas and electric. One fuck up and you'll pay more than you owed. If you're going to take it on, they'll get a warrant if you don't go to court. That's the simplicity it is. They don't contest your bill. They're just going to go to court for a warrant. If you don't go to court, they will get the warrant. The chances are you could stop that warrant if you go.
The day I went to court at Bolton, remember me telling you? that they were in the side room stamping the
Yes.
warrants. And
Yes.
if we weren't there that day, they would have turned up at the door. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing in that side room.
That's
It's
all
just
they're
stamping. Nobody's turning up to fight it. So unless you
And
turn
that's-
up with your court documents and everything else and put yourself forward, although you get to that stage and they shoo you away, you've gone there and you've stopped that. And if you follow the same steps when they do approach your door as I did, I consented for the gas board to come in. I'm going to say this. I consented for the gas board to come in, and they came in. And then I stood in front of the two police officers, and I asked them, and I ushered them out of my gate, and I've got it on video, because they were no longer required, because no breach of the peace was going to happen, because I've consented for them to go in. And this policewoman was ranting to the other police officer in the car while I was watching from the window, because I used the law with them. Rather than doing the other way, everything else, look how it's mapped out and go in that way.
Yeah, exactly, mate. We've had people. Unfortunately, it's quite a sad ending to this story. But a local lad to me, I've met him. I've sat with him on several occasions, and we've gone through the court stuff. And this guy, he was. When I say he was autistic, I'm not saying that there was anything wrong with him, because it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you because you're autistic. But this lad was autistic to the point where statutes and acts were verbatim. They were verbatim to him. But what he couldn't understand was, when we were sitting together, was he would tell me all these acts and statutes verbatim towards gas, towards council tax, and he knew he was right. And I said, I know you're right, but you're going to lose. Because of his autism, he couldn't accept that because it was on paper. And then eventually one day last year, British Gas turned up at his house, and at dinner time. And then later that day, he did a YouTube video which said, "This is my last ever video." And it was. He exited this. And on the occasions I'd spoken with him and sat with him, I remember one conversation vividly. It was the first one, and on the fourth occasion he mentioned exiting stage left. I went, "Can I stop you?" I said, "You keep saying exiting stage left. Are you on about killing yourself?" And he looked me right in the face and he went, "Of course, yes." I went, "Why?" He went, "Because I know that I can take this right to the edge. I can take this all the way to the edge, and the worst it can do is I take myself out of this." That was his case, and I couldn't reach him. Nobody could, and obviously he isn't here anymore, unfortunately. And he was a decent guy, hardworking. He understood things. He didn't know how to act about it. He didn't know what to do, like all of us. But the system did what it did, and he decided enough was enough. So I attended his funeral last year. I met people I'd not seen for a long time, and they asked me, "How do you know him?" Because the other people who I knew him very well, but I didn't know him that well. But the factor is, because of the circumstances, I don't go to funerals unless I actually know people. I'm not a funeral visitor. So if I don't know him, I won't go. But for some reason, I felt I should go for this fella, because he fought against everything I fought against. And what I saw was, that could have been me. That could have easily been me.
Yeah. Listen, I just want to get to. I want to. We've got quite melancholy for a fucking after dark, haven't we?
I'm sorry about that.
We're all sober, mate.
Listen, mate. It's not nobody's fault, right? I'm just now going to add to it.
We're all sober. That's what it is.
Yeah.
In fact, you'll excuse me in a minute. I'm going to go get a top up.
You're not going for a shit, are you? Like, oh, When you went on Uni's show, he went for a shit, didn't he? And you went, "Oh, I'll go in
I
there."
don't get that. I really don't get that.
Whether you weren't there earlier on. I don't think anybody else. If anybody else watched the show the other night, I think it was Super Leeds. Is Leeds in the chat rooms? Who's in the chat room tonight, Jason?
Well, there's Alice is in there. The Dalai Larper, Don Pike, who's a regular contributor to the chat room and is from Sheffield. Mahat Malevolence, Nubian is in there, of course. Christo Rook. I don't think there's any Super Leeds. Super Leeds might be asleep. He does.
Well, you can watch it on the playback. It's just purely because of the fact the other night he was going on about Clarence Seedorf.
Yeah, Edgar Davids. It was all
Edgar Davids. But I just thought I'd just try and, try and add to the fact and just try and have the look for him, see if that works. Have you got a picture of him, Webby?
Edgar Davids.
I just thought I'd just have a go, just for the look-alike. See if that helps Super Leeds any. Put them on.
Yeah, but then he'll think we've got Clarence Seedorf on and he'll start asking stupid fucking questions.
Rubbish questions or something. I don't know. Anyway, that was for Super Leeds, just for the sake of it. I found the glasses that I was doing the garden. I just thought I'd do that. just to change it a bit,
Nubian says, where is Leeds? He's probably asleep. Tom's in there as well. Good evening to you, Tom. Good evening to everyone who's watching on YouTube and on Facebook, of course. Live. Give us a like and a thumbs up or something like that, whatever you do. That would be so great. That would be so great. I would be eternally grateful. But I just wanted to mention that when I went for my I had an hospital appointment on Monday with the cardiac nurse on my leg. So she was coming to look at my leg and decide what we were doing with it. Anyways, I said to her, we got talking because she keep me Wi-Fi. Nobody can go in with her, and nobody can go anywhere near. So you're on your own, and we sat talking, and I said I've had all these things, and I said the thing is that I've had a dream before they happened, and there used to be this black-haired woman in this dream, and it'd always be that right before something happened, and then I realised who it were, and she said, "Oh, so you finally realised who it were?" I said, "Yeah, it were me auntie Jackie," and she said, "Jackie Holmes," and I said, "Yeah." She says, "Oh, when I were a young nurse, I were on board with Jackie, and I used to sit with her up with her all night long, doing stuff." And she says, "I've even got this. I started trying to do crochet stuff, and I were crap at it." And Jackie said, "Oh, I'll do it," and did it for her. And she said, "I've still got it up on my wall." She says, "I really love Jackie. Unfortunately," she says, that I went on fucking maternity leave, and she died when I were on maternity leave. So that was quite an interesting, an interesting altercation with somebody. And then on later that day, I'm up here in my room, in this room here that I've got, and there's a window just behind me there, and it's always open because this room's fucking massively hot. And this little finch came in, and it sat on windowsill, and it sat there looking at me for a bit, and sat there, and I'm like, "What do you want?" And he just sat, looked, and then buggered off again. And it was just like really weird, really, really, really weird. So that's what happened to me this week. So we all have these things that happen to us, and they all, they're all individual to ourselves. But I don't make them any less. Hang on, I've got a private chat here thing here. Says it from Owen. It says going for a shit.
No, it doesn't. Hey, Webby, what does he say there?
Where am I looking?
On our private chat.
Yeah. You're getting a drink, mate. But just before you go, I've private messaged you.
I've been and gone and done it.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I private messaged you. You've got a photograph of Edgar Davids sitting in your Facebook.
Nice
Facebook?
one.
Facebook inbox.
I know you mean.
Your Facebook, that'll be good.
Facebook.
It's in your Facebook.
It's in my face box.
That'll be what it'll be next, won't it? People will get rid of masks and put an entire box on their head with some eyes cut out.
Already happening, mate. Already happening.
Let's do it. Let's get these box-size head-size boxes, and get them to fit so that they fit directly in your head. They've got 2 holes, and perhaps a little hole for a straw to go up. Hey, I think we're on to it. We're on to it.
I got it. Cheers, buddy.
Just to mention that the Dalai Lapa, Webber used to watch Tiswas mostly, but used to watch Swap Shop. Now, to be fair, I never watched either. I never really watched either. If I watched anything, it probably would have been Tiswas, but I never used to watch Swap Shop. But I still remember the number 01-811-8055. I have no idea why I remember that.
Hey, Webby. Well, you remember me telling you, didn't I? When that went off, you had the Mersey Pirate that followed it, and then you also had the Fun Factory before then.
Yeah.
It
went to number 73, didn't it?
I was on the Fun Factory.
Yeah, I remember. I started to watch the number 73. I used to watch BBC One because it had Banana Splits, which would have the Arabian Nights cartoon.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
Yes, exactly that. Exactly. Sorry. Memories.
In it. It's like the corner of this mind here. Hey, Jason,
yeah.
Have you seen that Greg Hallett has come back on the scene?
No, listen. I've heard this name a million. I've heard this name a million times.
10 years ago, he was on.
Let me find the video. The video that I've got to play because it's a belter. Carry on.
10 years ago, Jason. I was talking to this fella 10 years ago, and I never heard anything about this, but now all of a sudden he's the new king. But I've also heard that John Winoa has got rights, as in, see, I believe the John Winoa stuff, because it's New Zealand type thing, I think that whatever was going on there, the king created a corporation for everybody to have shares in, the British monopoly, but I think they got fucked over at some point. And that's where this ambiguity's come. Sorry?
Wasn't that Queen Victoria? Was it Queen Victoria that had some documentation?
All monarchies overthrown by another fucking monarchy.
No, but I'm just saying.
We've heard it. Yeah. We've heard all this.
Queen. I'm just going with my dot connecting. If you just give me a minute, is that with Queen Victoria she had something to do with the documentation and land grabbing and taking flags and everything else. I'm not well versed in it, but I know that John Winoa, Andy Devine, all these guys are well on it, and I strongly suggest people have a look at the stuff that Andy Devine's been throwing out because he's on it. It's about language. It's about what we were taught, what we wasn't taught really, and how to use, the language properly. And it does go back to rulings and all the rest of it. But the link that I've kind of made is the White Rabbit statement of the claim, and how that's being used. And I'm going to say this because it's the stuff that I've been looking at with the Trump stuff and the QAnon stuff and follow the White Rabbit and all the rest of it. For me and the stuff that I've seen this connection with the White Rabbit. It's been appearing, maybe albeit subliminally. It may be superimposed things, but this seems to be a recurring image throughout this situation that we're going through. Forget about the riots and everything else, but you've had these images that's been around there. I'm getting stuff here that's coming through about the Greg Hallett thing and being ratified. What I want to do, this is why I said for you guys to carry on talking, I want to try and find this YouTube video that kind of a different take on the Greg Hallett. So if I can find it, I'll try and get it, yeah?
All right, but I'll tell you what, I'll only be convinced when his fucking head starts appearing on my money or my stamps.
Just gonna have a look at this to see if I can find it. Bear with me for a second, guys. Oh, carry on.
Look, the revamping fucking aren't they? Buckingham Palace.
They're doing something. There's something going on there.
They're revamping it for fuck's sake. Jesus
They've
Christ.
been doing that for 5 years though, and they've never taken the seal off, Jason. They've never covered the windows. So you've got to ask
Perhaps
a question.
it needs a polish.
Yes, but that is just a question, isn't it?
But I've also said as well is that house. I can't remember the style of the house. I can't remember the central.
I'll be back.
It's a very old building, Jace. And what I'm saying to you, that the style of the building, I'm sure I'm going to be prompted to the name of the building because I was talking to somebody about it last night that I know was watching in. But the style of the building itself, if you look back, is that curtains weren't made. So what I'm saying is that quite naturally we would see the windows of Buckingham Palace open, yeah, when we're getting all the video shots and everything else. But at this time, and this is just the way my mind works, is that those shutters that we're seeing, whether they're painted whatever colour they are, could be the natural shutters that have always been there and never been used. Because these windows have always been open. That's the images we've all seen. This is the first time we've ever seen images of Buckingham Palace with the shutters, shut. So it's if you look at it that way as well, that's the other side of the coin. But I've seen other stories with the unicorn being missing or the unicorn being knocked off by a truck accident, right? But the significance within the unicorn being missing, if you're looking at crests, there's a lot of different jigsaw pieces that are there that do match up together. So
I know. Listen, Owen, I'm not in any way dispelling any of those things. All I'm doing is I'm a truther that's been a fucking truther since 2000.
No, I'm not saying this directly to you either, Jason. I'm just saying that.
No. I'm just giving you my point of view. I'm a truther that's been there since 2004, and I've been through so many fucking new phases where new ages are where new shit's going to happen and new this and new that. I've never been anywhere near anything like this. Now, I don't know what is going on. But I always think that they're one step ahead of us.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And so, they might have done all this stuff for the only reason being is that they wanted to have us to suppose about, to talk about, to speculate about. That's just me thinking. Anyway, go on. I've got this video up here. Let's put this up then.
Yeah, this is the thing I was saying about the Greg Hallett video that I saw the other day. And I think it's quite interesting because there is, if you look on Facebook, there is a lot of posts going on about Greg Hallett. I know somebody here in Portugal that knows Greg Hallett. I've heard a lot about him, but this video kind of shows another slant in it, and that's what I've always tried to do, is show both sides of the story. So it's 5 minutes long. I don't know if we'll play it all, but there are key moments which I'll try and point out to you as it's going on.
We'll make it full screen, will you?
Yes, hi everybody, it's Lori again, and welcome to the age of the roller coaster. I mean, I just deleted my Greg Hallett after I was still digging, and I found this interview, which made me go, the needle scratched on the record. And this was very disturbing. Back in 2011.
Greg, did you want to talk about a little bit more about your background before we go to the next speaker? I'd like to get a short sort of bio resume out there to the people listening.
So let's see what he says.
Okay, it's a little bit unbelievable, but I've documented everything.
Unbelievable.
I trained myself in the psychology, lived in psychology while I was doing my architecture degree.
Psychology and architecture degree.
Worked on the fall of the wall in Europe, and then I went to Moscow in December '89.
Worked on the fall of the wall. I don't know if he's talking about Berlin, Germany, which might be because it just mentioned that he wrote a book about Hitler, and he mentions the Germans in a few minutes. And then he went to Moscow.
From there, I developed the reconstruction of the subconscious.
And from there, I developed the reconstruction of the subconscious. Now, this was what went off in my head. Big red flag. Big red flag.
We were actually had the position of president of the Scientist Club in St. Petersburg.
President of the Scientist Club in St. Petersburg.
Stayed with me for a month, briefed me, and then we compared notes
Germany.
on reconstruction of the subconscious. Came out to New Zealand, stayed with me for a month, briefed me, and then
Came out to New Zealand, stayed with him for a month, and briefed him.
we
About
compared
the
notes
language.
on reconstruction of the subconscious.
They compared notes on the reconstruction of the subconscious.
And then I was trained to do a couple of roles of my choosing.
Then I was trained to do a couple of roles of my choosing. What the? Oh my. What
That's the thing for me with that, Jason. Just those words that you just said then.
is going on here? We are in one psyop upon another psyop all the time.
I've written 10 books,
And then he wrote 10 books.
intelligence books, books on New Zealand, books on the sexual practices of New Zealand politicians from politicians.
Books on the sexual practices of New Zealand politicians and foreign politicians.
Last year I went to Europe, met the Sangreal, got the Holy Grail, delivered it to Rawson Chapel.
He went to Europe last year, got the Holy Grail, delivered it to Rawson Chapel.
That alone is a statement, isn't it? He got the Holy Grail.
So he was on this mission to deliver the Holy Grail, and yet in the video that I posted, he said his name meant the Holy Grail.
And returned, and it was confirmed that I delivered the Holy Grail to Rawson Chapel, and then I was made Lord Chancellor to the exiled King of England.
So then he was made Chancellor to the exiled King of England. The exiled King of England. Where did
Sorry.
you mention this in the interview I just posted?
Right, I'm going to stop it there, Jason. But it's just the claims that are made. The claims that are made in there, with everything that's going on, and as you say, he's just appeared back on the scene. Now, I've heard both sides of the story. I'm just throwing it out there because there are a lot of people making a lot of claims at this time when people are very, very susceptible. Yeah? And it just takes that claim. And it's like with anybody. I challenge anybody of that ilk. And I do know some of the lines, and I do know when he talks about the exile of the king, because I know somebody that knows Greg Hallett. But I challenge anybody to come to me with all the facts, provable facts, so I can see it. Legible documents that I can see it, and then I'll believe it. And the only reason I say that, and the only reason why I play that, it's not that I'm not saying that this guy is wrong, I'm not saying this guy is right. But until we all see the facts that are there presented in front of us, it has to be unbelievable, doesn't it?
I don't want a fucking king anyway. Fuck
I'm not
off.
saying neither do I, because I'm not there. But
I'll tell you what.
with all this,
What worried me about that little bit of video is there was a part of it, and it was clearly done on Skype, and you could see that Jim Fetzer were involved.
and this is the thing. This is the thing about it, is that there's been a lot of videos over the years, hasn't there, where people have made allegations. Yeah. Although a lot of this is coming out now, there's a lot of people that's coming out and trying to, I don't know, I keep going on about monetization, but it's not. It's just people that are there to try and gain momentum for their own self. Do you understand where I'm going with this? They're jumping on this wagon because they want to raise themselves above. While, you know, when all this is done, people can look at them and go, "Oh, thank you for this, that, and the other." But I want to see.
I think you're fucking snake charming there, or what?
He wasn't he?
It's my cat's arse, mate. It's my cat's arse. It's my cat's arse, lad.
Dear. But it is. It's a crazy world we're living in, guys. Though, don't you agree? Surely.
Of course, it's a fucking crazy
Yeah.
world. We know it's a crazy world. That's why we do this, isn't it? Otherwise,
What else would we do, mate? What else could we fucking do?
Exactly.
Because
Listen,
I've been in the system. I've fought against the courts. I've fought against barristers, judges, banks. I've fought against them all, and you can't get anywhere. Oh,
it's
Jason's
going
Death
down,
Star's
it's
collapsed.
going down.
Fucking hell.
Death Star.
I'll tell you what, Luke Skywalker's flown right down that fucking trench there, and he's blown the fucking Death Star up, and his lift, Jason's lift, is still sound.
It is. It's there.
fucking Luke's just come in and
Be
said,
down number one.
I always fucking told him not to slam door when he came in.
You know what you should have said to him, mate? What you should have said to him was, Luke, touch, look, but don't touch.
Oh, when am I going to put that fucking out without it being in my way? It's fucking stuck on my fucking wheels as it is.
Tell you what, you don't see this on the BBC, mate.
Webby, before we came on air tonight, I was trying to mess with the green screen because I've got blue screen behind me. But, you know, it's like when you're trying to explain yourself to somebody about what's going on and they don't understand. It's quite a bit like this if I can try and do it. Where has it gone? I don't want that one. I want that one. Sorry. Let me see if I can do it, Jason. It happened before. Let's see if it's going to do it.
There you
Brick
go.
wall, mate.
Am I there? It's like talking to a freaking brick wall. It's like talking to a brick wall. Sorry.
No chance getting anywhere near him.
Have you tried the slide thing that
I'm going to try it now.
fades the wall out and brings you in? There you go. Edgar Davids. Edgar Davids. Your lighting isn't good enough, mate.
It could be a Daft Punk video. Better, stronger, faster, longer. Sorry.
No. I think what you should do with that format now is you should go, I don't wanna dance with you, baby, no more.
Never do something to hurt you now. Because the feeling is bad, the feeling is bad. I don't wanna dance. Sorry.
Webby's trying to get fucking
Where's my lighter?
Listen, who's these people here, look? These are your fans, look. Here.
He's not been interested. Watson's never been interested in fame.
He's fucking knackered. Go on then.
Watson.
Watson's never been interested in fame. He just thinks you're a bell end.
Watson, do what your dad does on air. Have a wee.
Right, get off me now. You know, sometimes he'll be fucking on my foot chair downstairs, and he won't. And I'll go, I need to get on now. Dad needs to go in the kitchen. And he won't get off. He fucking just won't get off. So I end up having to just get out front bit while he's still right behind me.
I just got something today going back to the old Joseph Gregory Halleck stuff. King of UK Records, predictive programming, forming an interesting pattern beyond the manufacture, which hints at the history to be unveiled. It clearly states that some royal families are fake, others more true, and that's King of .uk. Something I just got through there. But it's just that, isn't it? Going back to what I was just saying before, is that there's so many. You know what I mean? It's like that rotten piece of wood. Hello, what's going on? What's happening? Opportunity. And that's what it is. In time of confusion, the last thing you need is everybody claiming something. Let's just sort this shit out first. And
What's Greg Howard going to do when he becomes king?
Common law court, and we'll sort it out.
What's Greg Hallett going to do when he becomes king? That's what, you know, is it going to be like King Ralph situation?
What do you need a king for?
He'll do as he's told. He'll do as he's told by the new factions. I mean, I can't. This Trump stuff, right? Everybody's going about QAnon. I know people personally who have bought into Trump being the savior of everything, right? Do you know, I like to be more reserved. Yes, he is doing stuff. He's doing stuff that people think is way, way, way out of line for what a president would do. But I also thought that when he was bimbling about in front of the Queen and bumping into her and knocking her the wrong way and then ignoring her. And I'm going, what's all that about? Because our mainstream media went mad about it, saying, look at him, he's disrespectful, this, that, and the other. And then you hear things about bloodlines, and Trump's bloodline could possibly be higher up the hierarchy than what the usurpers, the Saxe-Goldberg-Gotha Windsors are. It's easy to start to think about this stuff, but to think that, I mean, didn't Tony Robinson find the true king of England in Australia, who's a car dealership owner or something like that?
Fucking baldry.
That's right. Didn't that guy? I believe that guy died.
So
but, I mean,
why would you?
They were talking about that particular action was a submission to the Queen, because I was talking to somebody about this the other night, and what I did, I tried to find the similar situation, because I'd ask anybody to do that, because I can't find anything. If you look back, and when foreign presidents have visited Buckingham Palace, they do go through that ritual. So what I want to do is look back on that, where they're going and she's, you know, they're inspecting the guard. That's what it is, isn't it? I want to see other clips and see if the Queen is in front, because apparently it is a protocol thing. So I would like to see all the clips of other foreign dignitaries that are being presented the guard as they are, which is protocol, I believe, and see if their actions are the same as Donald Trump's. Because as you were saying, with the lineage thing and the bloodlines thing, there is something with there in the Trump thing. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm just somebody that's looking into it all. But I'm going to refer back to a few years ago when the press was kicking off because Trump was going to buy hectares of land and build in Scotland. But it happened. So that's another connection that people may have forgotten. That must have some sort of tie because he went ahead with it. But the thing for me in that whole saga of Trump doing this is having a look back on other foreign dignitaries that have visited when they are presented the guard, and to see a video footage of that and see if the actions are the same as what Trump did. Because then you have to then, as I've done, is try and look further than that and the significance of that. And then once again, with my pattern of thinking, this is just my pattern of thinking, the unicorn missing, the seal missing off the gate. And this is why I presented the Greg Hallett video before, because there are claimants coming in. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, the thing is, when they were asked them, I mean, I'd seen the seal go, and then somebody was talking about the unicorn, right? Which I thought was part of the same. It may be, I don't know. But the seal going missing, the excuse I heard was a removal van bumped in to the gate and ripped the seal off. Well, why is there a removal van bumping into the gate?
Exactly, it's the same as, because I mean, it's for me. Knowing about the stuff that people have reported and posted, is that stuff like that has significance because it's missing. I also posted a couple of weeks ago that it was just the UK.gov and there was nothing else on the UK. You know, when Johnson was doing his speech, that was missing. And at the very same time in the US, the presidential seal was missing when Trump was doing his speeches. So it's for me, and what I do is look at those kind of connections, and because there's a lot of talk about coincidences happening now, and you know, how many coincidences does it take for it to be false?
Well, let me tell you. Yeah, let me tell you one coincidence that hasn't changed. That the gold trim is around every flag that they all stand in front of, which is military maritime law.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it. And I think that's what it is, because like I was saying before, there's so many things that are popping up, so many theories that are arising because of the lockdown and everything else, and the QAnon and everything else, is that people have to look at the massive picture of it all, because there's so many, confusing elements to it. You can go down, to use the phrase, rabbit hole, and be completely sucked in by it, whereas the actual truth is kind of just knocking on your door there. And it's it's soaking in everything that's going on, not just one subject. I found that out because, as you know, when I first came on here, I was just talking about the food and the stuff I was growing. But with my situation, I focused on everything else. And the more that I started digging, it was like, fucking hell, this is mad. But there's so many connections there, and it can be confusing to a lot of people. But that's what it is, taking what you can. I mean, we're already there, but there are a lot of people that are going to be suffering. And we were talking about this earlier on, is that if ever we get a chance to be how we want to be, one of the worst things is going to be the psychological damage that's happened to people through this whole process. So the best that we can do is just keep on doing what we're doing and just deliver it in the best way that we can, that it's not going to, it's going to ease any sort of trauma, because it's going to happen, isn't it? If it's going to work out the way that we all want it, the best thing that we can do is just help people along the way, rather than going, yeah, well, come on, you're a bit late for that, you need time catching up. What's going on now? This is what's going on now. Deal with it the best way that you can. Sustain yourself the best way you can. That's all we can do.
And that is all we can do. We've done about an hour and 36 minutes. I don't know if you heard me thing going off, ping, 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 ping.
Is that all right?
Yeah, it's it will just finish Eastwood. Just booking in next Monday. So next Monday,
Monday coming.
Not Monday coming. Monday coming. We've already got we've got Monday and Tuesday this week sorted. Monday after that, Vinny Eastwood will be on the show. So, and then the Monday after that, Matt Conspiro will be on the show with all this Beatles stuff and everything. So, what we got? Let's just have a couple of minutes apiece before we shut up shop for tonight. I know it's been a bit of
a heavy one.
I've run out of drink. To be honest with you, I ain't got a drink. So if you two can talk until I can go downstairs and get a drink,
we're good with that already. Get yourself a drink, lad.
FFS.
Yeah, go on.
Do you know what? All we're going to do though is see him light up in blue and disappear.
Do you know what? I'm going to start a GoFundMe page. I want a dry ice machine there, Jason. Seriously, I fucking do. I want a dry ice machine and lasers. So you can end off the show, right, with dry ice, lasers as you're disappearing down.
Hang on a minute. Shouldn't you be beeping? Shouldn't you be fucking beeping when you're reversing?
I just think I love it. I love it. It's great. Absolutely great. But yeah, it's been mad.
No lion shirt. Jason doesn't need to go for a shit. He can just do it there. You just
it's after dark after all.
Yeah, he'll show it you if you ask him. So please don't.
Good night to Paula. Good night, Paula. Yeah, Dial thank you for the post this week, Dial. I much appreciate that. I've only just started posting stuff on YouTube page. I'm still in the middle of sorting one out because of me food and me trying to move and find myself somewhere to stay. But really good. I've had a lot more communication than I've ever had. Chris, thank you for the friends request as well for Show Rock. That's been really, really good. Nice to connect with you as well. But yeah, it's been really good. I've had a really good week. How about you, Webby? How's your week been?
Work.
No. Owen, One way to kill a conversation in one sentence.
And obviously, Owen, knowing what my work is,
Yeah,
nothing
I know.
changed. Nothing has changed at work. There is
That
no
really
such
actually,
social distancing. It can't work. It's like I know people close to me who are teachers. They've gone into work to prepare to go back full time next Monday, and they're crying. They are actually crying when they're talking to me because they are witnessing children sitting on their own eating the dinner. She drew the line at standing in boxes in the playground. I think they came up with rounders or some kind of game where you're not touching each other, that type of thing. But the people I'm speaking to, one in particular, she loves her job and she deals with primary school children. If a 5 or 6 year old falls flat on their face in the playground, her automatic reaction is to scoop that child up.
yeah, sort it out, yeah.
Now they can't do that. They can't touch these kids.
Right.
The protocol it's never going to work. It's not going to work. And then you have absolutely pituitary retards stating that we should stay locked down, we should wear masks, we should do this for a flu. And people say, this isn't a flu, people are dying. No, numbers are being fudged to show more people dying. I know people personally who have said, my nan had cancer for 3 years. She died last week of COVID-19.
Yeah, I mentioned it on a show a couple of weeks ago. In fact, it was, as I said, it was a lady that was the first aider that helped me when I had a heart attack when I was 35. I worked for Sainsbury's at the time, and she was beside me. And it was only a few years later she was diagnosed with cancer. And into the COVID, I got a friend with, I've got a really good friend, Michelle. And she rang me and told me that Sue had died. And I automatically knew it was cancer because she knew she wasn't going to get any better, even when I was working with her. But it was on the label of COVID.
Sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it.
Yeah, exactly that. And that's why I can't see. It's like, and I'm going to say this, and although it was another one of those movies that's in question, it's like the McFly. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can't understand why people can't see that. It is so obvious.
I don't, but the only thing I can come up with, Owen, is because this is so fucking obvious to me, and I have done, and do you know what? 10 years ago, I was talking about what is happening 10 years ago. People in work, people, I know you know I would say that, but people walk past me in work with tinfoil hats that they'd made and point at me and go, hey, Webby, yeah, you're not bad. Yeah. And those same people are going, what do you think of this, Webby?
Yeah, exactly. I posted a couple of weeks ago to a friend. I got into a conversation because one of my friends was being berated. And I went in and I said, I'll tell you what, forget them. Let's just invest in aluminium. Because there could be a hell of a lot of people wanting tinfoil hats by the time we're done.
I've had similar situations with people, and when they've asked me, I've just said, you didn't want to listen before, so I'm not bothering now. And that's how I'm doing it, you know. Then fucking find out themselves. You know, and you can't blame me.
I'm never going to be that person that says I told you so, because I can't. That's not me. I want to be there and just go, let's sort this out. You know what I mean?
That's where I'm at. I'm not at this is I told you so. I'm not at that stage. But when people are coming up to me and saying, why didn't you go and look at this when I told you about it? I've got a life, and well, where's your life? Where's your life? Where's your life now? After you've been furloughed with 80% of your wages, you're going back to work, so maybe you're okay. Did you take a mortgage break? Will your interest payments change? Therefore, your mortgage payments change because you don't sign a mortgage contract. It's subject to change. if you can't afford what you are now going to have to pay, as in all the people who have lost their jobs or businesses that have gone bang, all the small businesses that are going to go if they haven't already gone, unless they get back up and running. But people are losing at this, and they're going to turn around and blame who? They're going to blame me for pointing out what they've done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The ridiculousness about this. I am fucking sick of people, grown adults who I've known for over 30 years, who are coming out with rhetoric bollocks about people dying of COVID that can't be tested for.
Mm-hmm.
People need to assess this situation that a SARS-CoV-2 that has mutated into a COVID-19 that can't be tested for is going to kill people worldwide. So police can now enter your property without a warrant on suspicion of a member of your family in that household having COVID-19 that can't be tested for, that you don't have to show symptoms of. For fuck's sake, this is... Let's all have a fucking wank over this. What's going on? You fucking know that. Sorry, wrong meeting.
Alice has just put, "What are you drinking, Jason?" Well, I'll tell you what it is. What it is basically.
Shite.
Well, no, what it is death in a bottle for me, because it's this fucking raspberry vodka. Now, I can neck it. I can sip it like as in, and stuff, and I can also have it this way. So I'm having it this way. Still got a lot of it left, but it is fucking lethal for me, man.
Sorry. I'm just going to tell you.
Can you drop it like it's hot?
Drop it like it's hard. Drop it like it's hard. Come on, Jason. Drop it like it's hard. Drop it like it's hard.
Do you know something? I used to have there was this kid who used to come into their bedroom when I was working there.
Oh, wait.
Like a club in Sheffield. He was the only person who ever came up and asked me to play Drop It Like It's Hot. And this like little 5 foot fucking dwarf white kid.
In the Adidas tracksuit with the tongues out.
He's like, "Can you play Drop It Like It's Hot?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, yeah, no worries."
Did he put his Edgar Davids on and dance on the dance floor?
Oh, man, I'm telling you. Some fucking people that used to get up, they were fucking nuts. Can you play something good? The fuck you doing in here?
You know what? I love that. I've heard so many people say that to a DJ. Can you play something good? And the DJs look at him like that.
I used to work at a nightclub called Bojangles in bottom of Drake Street in Rochdale, and I was the warm-up DJ for a guy called Chris Buckley, Piccadilly Radio Manchester DJ, and I used to do the 7 till 9. And I used to get that. I used to get, especially on the Thursday night, because it was cheap drinks night. Used to get the guys that used to come in that were clearly been out since 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'd just be setting up and just playing shit, just messing. Oh mate, can you do us a favour? Yeah, just play something really shit hot for me. Do you know what I mean? Just that. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, listen, mate. Honestly, I used to get it all the time. Can you play something good? Oh well, I'm an S Club 7 fan. So if you want me to play something good, I'll play S Club 7.
Reach for the stars, baby.
Can you be a little bit more specific? What you want? You fucking idiot. And then people would come in and go. I asked you to play this, and I said, yeah, I'm gonna put it in where it belongs, And she went, "Oh, well, we're the ones that are paying your wages. So you should play what we pay, what we say." And I said, "Look, I tell you what. If that was the case, there'd be a jukebox on this wall, right? And
I would be
making fucking money rather than having to pay out 150 fucking quid for me to play music to you idiots. I know more what you idiots want to listen to than you. I will play your fucking record.
Jason, Jake Watkins in the chat room says, Jason, you were a DJ.
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell, I could tell you many fucking stories.
Come on,
he could wiki with the rest of them.
I'm sorry, Jason, give us a tale. I've got one as well. Give us a tale. I'd love to hear one because I've got a belter. Give us a tale, Jason.
There was this woman that they were in this place that I worked, and it were in Sheffield, and it were a bar. It were a busy bar, and it finished sort of 1 o'clock, which suited me. But this woman, and she came and she fucking stood right next to the DJ stand, right? And she got this bloke with her, and her and this bloke were dancing all fucking like you know.
Were they gyrating? They were gyrating.
And yeah, gyrating and that. And then she turned to me and fucking pulled the top up, and her tits were out and everything. Fucking just turned to me and just tits out and lot and give me up, come on and everything while I'm fucking trying to DJ. And she's got a bloke with her.
Yeah. Obviously you're protesting. And you said, please,
when they're really, really hammered, you see them, don't they? You know they're coming over.
I don't think she was hammered. I just think she was a slag. I think she just like loads of blokes.
Hang on, a slag in Sheffield.
I tell you what, I've seen people like in a nightclub walking into mirrors because they thought they were doors. Do you know what I mean? It's been brilliant. Guys stood there pulling the flies down in mirrors. Do you know what I mean? Going, no, mate, you can't do that.
Alice Johnson has said, which bar? Was it me? The bedroom. It used to be called Sadler. I think it's called Maida Vale or something now, but that's where it were. But yeah. And the fucking... We had this bloke one, this old bloke, right? You know, you get these old blokes and they go into nightclubs, right? I worked in this club called Babylon, and so we did it. It were 90s, so you know, I'd get all the people coming in and saying, "Can you play some Rihanna?" And I go, "No, it's a fucking." And why not? Everyone likes it. Everyone, and I go, "No, it's a fucking." And it's a 90s bar. We play 90s music. Oh, well, this is fucking shit. This is shit. Well, you paid a $5 to get in.
Yeah.
You know, fucking 90s bar, and you coming in and you're asking for fucking Rihanna or some other fucking dog shit that were around at that time. But you know, we always there was this one particular bloke, and what he were an oldish bloke, and I think he got aspirations of being a bouncer. So he came in, he were a punter, right? But he wore black trousers, white shirt, and fucking waistcoat, so he looked like a bouncer, right? Oldish bloke, must be in his 50s. And anyway,
you're in your 50s. I'm in my 50s. What you talking about?
Yeah, but I'm saying, you know, he's in his 50s, so you know this bloke's not fucking. He's not no naive teenager. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so as it happens, it kicks off on dance floor. So I'm there. Security to dance floor, please. And he's fucking legging it over. He's fucking in there, fucking getting it all and dragging them all out. And they ended up having to bar him because he was pretending to be a fucking bouncer in there and fucking taking stuff off people and fucking doing stuff. Just weird fucking people. The night world is full of weird people.
It is.
The social nighttime world is full of weird.
I used to love coming out of the nightclub at the end of the night, especially a Saturday night, and you've got the guys that are absolutely hammered and they're still around the fish and chip van or the kebab van or the burger van or something. Seeing some of the conversations and stuff, it was funny. I used to love it. Just love it.
Yeah, just fucking nut. A kebab, you know, you get your kebab. I mean, what do you do when you're at that age? Come on, we've all done it. You were 26.
Oh God, yeah. God, I've been having in kebab shops and just shaking my mouth off. In fact, I remember, and sorry to mention this, Webby, when in my football days when I followed it, not as much as I do now, but when Man City won the league for the first time, I can actually remember being there was me that was the only Manchester City fan, and there was 8 others, and obviously I was singing. I was overjoyed. Obviously, first title in God knows how many years, and we went into one of the local pubs in Halifax, and obviously I was singing all the way, and everybody else was singing with me. But the funny thing is that everybody else got kicked out of the pub except for me. I was a regular. You know, even going back to way then, what I feel, you know, just to have that, it was amazing that's the difference, isn't it? That I was a regular in that pub, but I went in with a bunch of people that was all singing the same song. But it was them that got ejected from the pub and not me. And they wasn't causing trouble. They were just singing over loud and drunk and celebrating. But I managed to stay in the pub. And that's what it is, that people forget, that when people know somebody, they get who they are. And I'm going back to regardless of race, colour or creed, religion, everything else. Once a person gets to know a person...
But Jake's just asked, did you DJ over the UK or just in Sheffield? And I went all over the world. And to be honest with you, I never had any fucking problem with anybody. I mean, and you know, I used to take piss. You know, when I worked in Dubai, I used to walk in into the club to do me set, and the woman from behind the counter that were the guests, you know, that greeted people, and she'd give me my mail as well. And she'd go, "Hello, Mr. Jason, no letters," and you know, I go, "Hello, Mrs." And then we'd just take piss of each other. There's no fucking. It didn't matter. I had people from Lebanon, fucking from Thailand, India, all over the place. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Fucking hell. Just if someone's a cunt, they're a cunt.
Do you know what it is? The world is happy enough if you leave people to do what they want to do. You don't need that control from anybody else to tell you what to do and how to live your life. And sadly, people have taken the path of believing what they see, what they read, and not seeing the full picture. And that's where it is. It is because people have a preconceived idea of other people by what they read or what they're told, rather than seeing direct. They'd rather read and have their assumption right there on a piece of paper.
I always take people face value. If you're a cunt, you're a cunt.
You cunt, exactly that.
Nothing. It doesn't matter about colour, creed, religion,
exactly
anything. That. And that's how I deal with people. In fact, when I sat down with you that night, Owen, many moons ago, at that pub, and I had a pint with you, and we were talking about bills of exchange, and we were talking about utility bills. If you'd have been a cunt, I wouldn't be here talking to you. And that wasn't because you were black, mate. That would be because you were a cunt. Mm-hmm. It's simple. It's simple. I don't understand. Maybe it's because I've not grown up in a community where it has been split with some blacks and some whites.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
like I was saying, Owen, if a black man walked through Lee when I was a kid, everybody knew, because that was just not a normal thing.
Exactly.
Now we still don't have many blacks, but it isn't a thing. A black man walks through Lee, nothing happens, because we've been fully integrated with Romanians, Polish, blah, 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 blah. We've got all these kinds of ethnicities, and they found places within the town. And those places, not racist, but those places have changed. Those places have changed because some of those ethnics have invited local smackheads into their houses. So those houses have now become cuckoo's nests, and drug dealers go and work out of there. So when some local reports this to the police because there's drugs, there's prostitution, we don't know how old the girls are. But
Mm-hmm.
when the police raided, they shut the operation down. They went to a local college that has been boarded up for a few years, and out of that college, they turfed out prostitutes, prostitute handlers, 2.5 tons of waste, rubbish, and the same amount of tonnage possibly in rats.
What?
Now, when all that happened, and it was reported by a local fella who was helping the new locals, because when they moved in, they had no carpets, the kids had no shoes, they had no food. These people took these people shopping. They bought food. These racists bought these ethnic people food and clothes for the kids. Yet all these people turned up, or at least 30 of them turned up with knives and machetes, banging on this fella's door because he'd reported them to the police. They rang the police. The police turned up. Who did the arrest, Owen?
No.
They arrested the fella who had reported the operation and then reported being harassed and threatened. They got a restraining order against that fella, and while his wife lived in the house, he had to reside 3 miles away at his mum's house, which was sheltered accommodation, and he had to sleep on the floor. And he did that for a year before court dates came and they went, yeah, you can go back. But why was it all directed at a local lad who's gone through the care system, who's come out the care system, who can possibly just about read and write, but the fella could build you a house like that? And he's done all that, and he's helping his kids. He's still doing it now. He's getting bikes that don't work from people, and he's fixing bikes, fixing punctures, doing all this stuff for these kids whose parents threatened him. But the kids were threatened to not go near him. Now the kids go. Now the kids are playing in the streets, but the police are turning up, and they park up outside this lad's house. Not outside the lads, not outside where the trouble is. They park outside who's reported it.
So who's intimidating?
It's a council thing.
Who's intimidating who there? I can't believe that people will stand by and see that happen. If they know that person, how can they stand there and let that happen? Because they know
they're all intimidated.
He is not doing wrong.
They're all intimidated, Owen. I've met this fella. I've seen him. I mean, you can go and look him up. He runs a campaign. His name's John O'Malley, and he runs a campaign. He stands in town with a big board saying, "This is what's happened to me." He can't get justice because
look at that. Really. People need to have a look.
It's disgusting, mate. It's not the town I grew up in. That's why I said, after all this time, I wanted to go live tonight because something bubbled in me today about a rant. And it wasn't even really a big rant. I mean, somebody commented earlier saying, "Oh, I saw your rant. You eventually went and did it." It wasn't a proper rant, that. It's just, it gets me down that people who I actually... I held in some kind of esteem, as in they weren't stupid. Yet I am seeing people I've known 30 years, and they are stupid, and they wish to remain stupid because when I go, "Have you read this?" they go, "Not interested." Mm-hmm. Well, if you're not interested in new information, then you're going to get foot right up the arse and applaud it in while it comes. I don't care anymore. I really don't. I know which side I'm on, and I know where I am going. Simple as that. But I'll sit here and I'll talk to anybody who wants to listen. But I will not listen to people clipping at me and saying you're a dickhead and this, that, and the other. As soon as people think that if you block someone, it's because they've beaten you in an argument. No, it's because I refuse, after 12 years of doing this and being harassed, direct, everything, after all this time, my life is easier for that dickhead to not be in it because idiots will drag me down to their level for an argument, and I'll fucking jump down there and I'll argue with the cunt.
It's like vibrations. I've done that myself, Paul. Seriously, this week alone, you know, and I spoke to my friends about it. I have done it. I have now got to the point is that I can't do it anymore with you. I can't.
Yeah.
Because it's lowering my vibration. At the end of the day, it's lowering my vibration if I continue that dialogue with that person. So if they no longer fit where I'm going, they can't be a part of it. And with all the shit that's going on now, the deception and everything else, I have to be honest with myself. And if they don't fit where I am at, I'm sorry, but they're gone. And I have no remorse in that. None whatsoever. I'm going with it because I know the path that I want to take is going to be a good one and a righteous one.
Webby,
let
me just jump in there for fear of interrupting and you know, Owen might just like run off. But
I'm going to go to the toilet.
Webby, we're just saying that, you know, your sound, it's, I don't know whether it's something you're doing with your hands or something, but it goes really quiet and then it goes really okay. It's really okay. When it's really quiet, you can still hear it, but you have to listen. But when it's, you know, when it's better, it's a lot clearer. I don't know if
maybe it's because I swing away from the mic. I don't know. I don't touch anything.
It might be because you're a swinger.
Maybe I'm a swinger. I've just seen in the chat room.
In someone else's house.
Hey, if I'm paying for it, I can go. Remember that. Escorts can still visit. Remember that. Jake Watkins in the chat room has just said, how come the BLM protests are okay, but the anti-lockdown protests get broken up and people arrested? From the police, they didn't want to intervene in the BLM movement in London this week because they didn't want to appear racist. That was an official statement. So,
well, I heard that everyone were, instead of clapping, everyone were going to take a knee yesterday. Now I didn't hear any clapping, and I didn't look out my window. I've got to be honest, but I mean, for me that was offensive because I can't take a knee. I've only got one knee. What am I going to always send up with? You know, when you're down on one knee, you hold your send up with other leg, don't you? I ain't got that. So I can't do that. That's offensive to me. How dare they do that to me? Fucking monopeds lives matter.
Hang on. Is this your way of telling me that you're not a Freemason because you can't take the knee for the 3rd degree level? Is that what you're telling me here?
Yeah, well, I didn't know you know so much about Freemasonry, Webby, to be honest.
No, you'd be surprised what I know about Freemasonry, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm doing at the minute now? I'm going to go onto my phone because after I've been to the toilet, I had a quick peep outside the door and it's a really, really clear night. We've almost got a full moon. And I know that if I go on my phone and click the link, I can go outside and do an outside shot. How would that be? Can we just do it? It's after dark, after all.
Yeah, go on, for fuck's sake. He's always into all this stuff. Go on.
I'll try and do it.
Go and get a full moon.
Hey, listen. I'm just trying to find the link on the phone first. I can't do it without that, can I?
If you get a good full moon picture, we'll get it on and we'll get it on full thing. Like, you know what I mean? It'll be we might even see what ships go past or something.
I have the link on my phone now.
I can tell I'm on with 2 Yorkshire lads because he's looking at his fern.
Fern.
He's checking his fern.
Looking at his fern in South Yorkshire, mate. If he's
looking at his fern and you're looking and he's looking at his fern.
I'm looking at my fern. Right, I'm just trying to get this link on here. If I can try and do it, I'll go to my phone and I'll go outside.
Okay, for fuck's sake. This is great stuff, this.
Hey, listen, it's a Raconteurs news first, is it not? Let's have a go. Why not?
It's Raconteurs news, everybody. I've got Webby and I've got Owen Lloyd Martin I've stopped calling him Lloyd, at least. Yeah, hey, baby. I mean, fucking hell, I don't know whether that were a subconscious racist thing or whatever, but no, it's Owen and Webby, we've been talking about all sorts of shit all night long. Here we go. We've got this device up now. I'll tell you when I can see something on it and whether it's worth it. Right.
Your volume down then.
Your volume needs down. Your volume needs down.
See if I'm there. I am there. I'm using it. There we go. I'll go outside, shall
I can see your teeth.
I? Yeah, got you, okay. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm still here. I don't even know what you're saying because I can't hear the fucking words. So you can say whatever you want, but there you go.
I can see the moon.
Lovely clear night.
It is a lovely
Dogs are
clear
back in the distance.
No contrails. And
there you go. I'm going to come back in and go under the camera. But there you go. Wanted to show you the moon. And
is that the moon? That's the moon.
It's the moon.
I'm coming back in. Okay. Carry on, Jason.
When we travelled to the moon, do you remember that?
The what?
When we travelled to the moon, do you remember it?
No. I remember I've been to Button Moon. I've followed. Yeah. Now then, Owen, we've just had news reports from Portugal. Apparently, a spoon has gone missing, and it's been reportedly seen with a dish.
That'll be me then. That'll be me then. I just thought I'd give you that guy, you know what I mean? It was it's there. I had to do it, sorry.
Hey lads, does anybody else think this might be a little bit suspicious? The source from the BBC there. The UK had more COVID-19 deaths, which we can't test for, by the way. The UK has had more COVID-19 deaths on June the 3rd than all EU countries combined.
Is it over 40,000?
359 from a population of 66 million died on the 3rd of June. And from a population of 450 million in Europe, 314 died. Do you think there might be a discrepancy in the adding up? Is Diane Abbott doing it, or is it Neil Ferguson?
But I mean, I go back to about a couple of years ago when kids were coming home from school going, Dad, Mom, how do I do this maths equation? And it's a simple subtraction, let's say, for instance. And Mum and Dad goes, yeah, come here, I'll sort it. And gets hold of the piece of paper and goes, what the fuck's this? Because the formula had changed.
Seen it.
I'm just dropping that in there. Because all it is now, any leader of any country, they are saying the figures, but not the percentage. Because, if they were to say the percentage,
really,
it would be more.
Listen to me. They could tell me 12 billion people had died in the UK from it. They could tell me that. I won't believe it. They could tell me nobody died. I won't believe it. I don't care. The numbers that they give me, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I want people to stop caring. I want people to stop looking at the fucking daily COVID-19 update like it's some sort of war thing. It's like they're preparing how they will handle when there's a war on. You know what I mean? How the media will respond and how there'll be updates every single day. Well, today we killed loads of cunts with tanks in them because they didn't have as good tanks as we had. We're not using nuclear weapons yet because that would just kill fucking everybody. And that's not really what we want because some of us might get fucking killed in it. But that's what it is. But we've got to stop people. These numbers, they don't mean anything. They can say...
Barry Truth in the chat room says the world is ruled by actors. And it is.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is.
The whole world is a stage, believe me. Being played out right.
If anyone thinks that fucking Boris Johnson's not wearing a wig, then you've got to be fucking demented. And fucking what is Trump? And look, what we need to do with this is a big wake up call for us all, right? But instead of looking for people to fucking follow and looking for people to lead us into this next thing, let's just do it ourselves. Yes,
it's within.
When there's 23,000, and you're next to somebody in thing, and you can hear them talking, and they say, "Oh, we're this and that," and there's been another 2,000. Just say no, there aren't, and just put that fucking seed in the brain, and just say, who do you know that's died? Well, they might know someone that's died, but they'll have died of a stroke. A bloke across the road from me's had a stroke. I know somebody that's one of my cousins has had a heart attack, and they think that he might have the same thing that I've got. So it's fucking bad news for him on that. But if that heart attack had killed him, no doubt they would have put COVID-19 on the death certificate. And it's not, and every single time, every single time, I don't know how you can fucking, I'm getting like where we were earlier on, but I don't know how that every single time it says, that when it says someone's died, it says they died with COVID-19.
After testing for.
Oh, yeah, but with, but not fucking.
The doctors who invented the test. The doctor who invented the test they're using said you can't use this for viral tests because it can't differentiate between a dead and a live virus. That's why there's false positives and false negatives. Exactly. But that's been put on death certificates. When Harold Shipman did that was fraud at the very least. Yet this is being accepted. Jason's getting me on a fucking rant again, But
no, but it's right, Paul. It's right.
It's doing my fucking nutting that I sit with sycophantic fucking idiots who want to suck the cock of the corporate fucking media and say, yeah, they're all right, and I have to be wrong. Not doing it anymore. If I'm wrong,
I think they're well informed because they watch ITV and fucking Sky, and they watch all news things, and they think that they're fucking educated upon it. They're not.
I challenge anybody with a fucking degree,
just with all the script,
whatever else, to challenge me against what's going on now, the obviousness that's going on now. I am not fucking stupid. I was that guy that was told, Martin, sit down. Why are you asking that question? And I went home and I said to my dad, why did they get shouted out of school? Because I asked a question. And what was the question? And I told me that, and Dad said, well, the teacher's got a problem with that. I knew I was on the right path because I was asking. I wasn't disruptive. I was questioning.
But Owen, Dylan called you Lloyd again.
You do it one more time. There's going to be a blackout. I'm telling you now.
Whoa! Hey! You're going to get. You're going to get a discipline from the school. When you do ask the teacher if they shave the fanny.
What, tickle your fanny with a feather?
You said you asked a question.
Tickle your fanny with a feather?
I did what?
Manchester weather. I said typical Manchester weather.
Oh, right. Typical Manchester weather. Right, okay.
It's
like a Muslim. It's either Sunni or Shiite.
No. What I said was it? Yeah, I get that. When I used to work on Manchester fish markets, that was the thing we used to say: tickle your fanny with a feather. And the old days used to say, "You what?" And we used to say, "Tickle your fanny with a feather." And they'd go, "You what?" And we would say, "Typical Manchester weather." And they would go, "Yes, it is, love." And we would have our giggle on the fish stalls. So there you go. That's where that comes from.
And then you'd bite the head off the fish and
I would bite the head off the fish and go, "White woman, eat with the black man because it's good.
Get into the mouth of the woman. Listen, we'll be going 2 hours and 20 minutes. I only intended this to be an hour. I think we should we'll call it a day. Thanks very much, Owen Lloyd Martin, and of course Paul Webster Webby. The Webster Report. He did a little one earlier on, a little rant. I suggest go back and have a look at that, and of course subscribe to the Webster Report. Owen, yes, mate.
Could I just say I'm going to open up my channel next week, and could I ask you guys on?
Is that a euphemism?
I'll say a YouTubeism even.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Listen, are you going to be selling witchetty grubs and bark as well as this bit?
I've had a word with Bear Grylls. I'm sorry.
You'll have to have a word with my agent because now
I want this. I just want us to go further. Let's just do it.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute, Jason, you've got an Asian.
Yeah, tied up downstairs
under the lift.
I'll give you a shout. I'll give you a shout in the next couple of days, and then we'll start.
Anyway, thanks to everybody that's watched us tonight. I know it's not been much, but it's been something to do. We've had wine, women, and song. Owen's got a wine. I've got a woman, and
Webby, come on, finish us off with a song. I've got the wine. He's got the woman. He's got the woman. You have to have the song.
It's getting too loud for me. I don't know what I'm going to have to do here.
I'll tell you what. Here's the song then. She wore big knickers and she worked up sewage firm. Got my hand down her jeans and I nearly lost half my after 10 pints, I looked quite fit. Couldn't wait to get my hands on a flabby tit. Sweaty Betty.
Go on, Webby.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just leave you with this one. And thanks to everybody who's in the chat room. Brilliant again in there tonight. Nice to see you. We can't read all your comments. It does take quite a long time. It does take a bit up. But if you try this, you'll know that you can't read all the comments. But we do appreciate every single one of them. And I'll finish with this one. My brother's in Borstal, my sister's a slag, and the Yorkshire Rip is my dad.